So this is the listening party for the Medieval Challenge, which was a challenge to use a sample pack from the Teenage Engineering Medieval Pocket something. So, without further ado, we shall listen to entry number 1.
That was incredible.
Most excellent. Does anyone want to claim that?
That was very whimsical. That was like taking me back. It was like a Ninja Gaiden soundtrack side of thing, like 8-bit Nintendo. It was very gamer sounding.
Should we just guess on the spot and then have someone reveal?
Oh, I'm gonna guess Joe.
I'm going to guess Joe also.
I was going to guess Joe too.
I was going to guess Mike, but I'm assuming now that it's maybe Joe.
Yeah, it's Joe.
The moo sound at the end, I feel like you were emulating the old moo toy. The one
Actually, I wasn't. I just
really
wanted something to finish it off, so I thought let's stick the cow in there.
That was great. It was like I kept thinking in the beginning and multiple parts when I kept going back to it that it just felt like a medieval like dance. Like
Yeah.
if I was in medieval times, we would all just be getting down to this. Like, it just felt like the medieval club. It was sick.
Yeah. If like there was a rave in medieval times, that's what it was like.
Yeah. It was really cool. Love the bounciness and the danciness.
Thank you.
Right.
The opening part with the hurdy-gurdy and the dulcimer, I took inspiration from the Ravenous soundtrack, which was by Damon Albarn. And he does a similar thing. And then I started thinking, what would house music sound like if they did it 500 years ago? Yeah. And so it just became this sort of house song.
That was amazing. Good for you.
It sounded like you used every fucking sample.
No, actually, I left the original idea when I still had my voice was it was going to be this big choral piece, very Carl Orff, and then that wasn't going to happen. My voice is still not there, so I started working on this, and I thought about doing a battle kind of thing, but there was just so much else going on. I thought, you don't need the swords and
Right. I feel like your dulcimer sounds were better than mine somehow.
oh.
We we had the same sounds. Yours sounded really good. I don't know why. I don't know why mine sounded so bad is the better way to say it.
Did you do anything special to your dulcimer sounds, Jeff?
No, I mean, I love the dulcimer, and so I didn't have as much time on this because I started late, but I tried to get in the first stanza, the final dulcimer part, you can hear a little bit of that hammering. Otherwise, I would have done more of that, but I didn't do anything. I don't think there's any effects in here at all. I think it's just panning and volume.
Mm,
Cool.
sounds great.
Yeah.
So it's more like Zach ruined it somehow.
Yeah. Just
Sure.
starting with the same source, somehow it didn't work out.
I'm sure it's great.
I love the little witchy section in there with all of the. I don't know if you were reversing some of the witch samples. They just sound cool.
Yeah, nope, just I did chop her up when she's doing the repetition thing, but no.
That whole last section with I don't even know how to explain it but whatever. It's amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. On to entry number 2. Is the audio volume okay for the track? Was that okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yes, my lord.
Excellent. Commencing track number 2.
That was badass.
Wow.
This is harder to guess who this was.
I have no idea who that was.
Well, I'm gonna guess that was Paul just because of the vocal.
The hammer?
Not Paul.
Okay, I was torn between Paul and Cam.
Yeah, Cam
I
would
was
be
gonna
my
go with
favorite choice
Cam.
on that as well.
I guess Zach.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Oh,
Zach.
Paul's gonna go with Cam. Okay. I don't know.
Who are you voting for, Ryan?
I'm just over here picking my nose, guys, off camera.
I'm gonna say maybe Cam. I don't know.
I think it's Cam.
That was me and Sam.
Ah,
Nice.
That's cheating.
Okay.
That was just a badass piece of music. Very cool.
Wow. But like, where did the drums come from?
Yeah, I was gonna ask the drums and where did the bass come
The
from?
bass.
What sample did you use for that bass?
I think the bass was the horns pitched down really low.
Oh my
Wow.
God. It sounded
Wow.
so good.
Sounded
That was
incredible. And the
incredible.
female vocal was amazing.
So the vocals were us. I did some ohs and
Oh, nice.
Sam did ah, which is so beautiful.
Wow. Okay.
And the beginning was me with some really distorted vocals. It's like that thing.
Okay. I was going to say, I don't remember hearing those in the sample pack.
Yeah, we put vocals on top of it. But
That's
yeah,
awesome.
the samples are all samples. The music's all samples. What did you say? The drums? I mean, there was a kick. There were kick samples in there.
Yeah,
Um,
I used
Yeah.
to.
there was we layered like a sword. Sam had an idea to put the sword sound on top of the kick at one point. I don't know. A bunch of other stuff happened. I mean,
So it really stabs.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well played.
Where's your womp womp button? You push that one.
Wah, wah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
it
didn't.
turned out great. Yeah, I just had like the beginning part, like the vocal I just sang, and the like the bass, kind of the growling, moving bass thing in the beginning, and the hi-hats that kind of sounded like a gate opening. And then I took it over to Sam's, and she just did her thing and went buck wild on it and added so many cool things.
Wow.
What a great collaboration. It turned out great.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's cool.
All right. So on to number 3.
Hell yeah. Oh. My guitar sounds so good.
Woo!
Oh,
That was so
man.
good.
Oh, so good.
Well, that has to be Paul then.
Yeah, that's probably Paul, isn't
I
it?
was thinking Paul too.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was Paul. I don't know.
That is
That was
Um,
so fun.
What came to mind to me is that there's like a group on YouTube or TikTok or whatever that does like synth or techno music, but they just do it with all like props and stuff, like fans and other stuff. It'd be like the medieval version of that, like a techno touring group or whatever with a vocal chorus with a bunch of tavern dudes holding beers, and they're just like, "Yeah, we got the flutes, we got the we got the lutes, we're rocking out,
Tavern
man."
guys.
Yeah.
Got to bring the tavern guys on tour.
Techno was invented in medieval times.
That was so cool. The fucking flute and the what was it like? What was the guitar thing?
Sital?
I don't even remember what it was called.
Yeah, I think that was it though.
That was so badass. Was that like chopped or something? Or
Yeah, it was all the phrases were pretty much just warped versions of whatever the samples were, pitched up and down and
wow.
whatever.
So
Yeah.
did you warp the rhythm of it first, or the pitch first, or kind of simultaneously?
I think mostly the rhythm, if I recall.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
And then
because a lot of it was
adjust it.
kind of like loose rhythm wise, or maybe it was triplet based. So I was
Yeah.
forcing it into a 4/4 kind of thing. So that was a lot of the warping. But
It sounded so cool. It sounded like the White Stripes or something, like this weird kind of old like line. It sounded so badass.
the donkey was my donkey though. I recorded my donkey for the end.
You have a donkey, really?
We'll allow it.
Joe's confused.
There's a collab with my donkey.
I loved how you had those kind of the sounds as punctuations for the end of like the phrases. That was just super fun.
Oh, thanks.
I like.
I was going for fun, so I'm glad to hear that.
There was
Yeah,
the part in the bridge where it sounded like the samples, some of them at least, were running backwards. I
Some of
really
them
like
were.
that.
Yes,
Yeah.
some of them were, yeah. Or I think it was like took out slices and ran them backwards just to make it less straight up.
Hmm.
There was a part, it might have been the bridge, where it like the key kind of turned more majory or like more hopeful.
Yeah. Yeah, that part was mostly taking things and creating a riff. Like I definitely came up with those notes, whereas the rest of it was more or less the phrases as they were in the samples.
Right.
Mm.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
Oh,
Was
so
it the
good.
was it the chords sample that you were affecting, or was it just stacking some of the other samples?
I mean, I think I built it around whatever the hurdy-gurdy thing, and there was like this groany thing, and I was like, well, I guess I want a bridge, and so I want actually some kind of chord progression to it. So I guess if I have that hurdy-gurdy thing, I'll just pitch it to like a riff sort of chord progression-y thing. That's
So the groan was part of the chord, or no?
how did I do that? I'd have to look. I finished it like a week ago, so I honestly don't remember.
Fair enough. Yeah, nice work, man. That was awesome.
Thank you. This is a fun challenge.
Yeah, it was super
Yeah, I'm
super
glad
fun.
everybody got into it. It's pretty cool
Yeah,
seeing how
I
this
wish
whole group work with samples so much.
I wish Steve were here to hear it because nothing would exist if he hadn't recommended it, which is really
Absolutely.
cool. So
At least you can watch this on YouTube, huh?
yeah. Okay. Entry number 4.
Gather around the fire, friends, for a tale of bravery, of love, and of heroes most queer. Born on a farm, 'twas a scrawny wee lad, but he toiled and he giggled, and the man became chiseled, full of compassion, with a keen eye for fashion. 'Twas the bachelor of Fairy Vale, found the love of his life, the apple of his eye. As he went to a knee, he looked to the sky. 'Twas a dark, putrid haze, evil spreading with haste. 'Twas the cursing of Fairy Vale. So raise a flask, let the mead run dry, as the warmth of the hearth bends your weary thighs. May the proud flames blaze your worries away. Join your friends in song of heroes most gay. 'Tis the secret of Fairy Vale. Kissed his mother goodbye, told her, don't you cry. Turned his eyes to the void, said, this must be destroyed. With hope in his eye, and Rodrigo by his side. 'Twas the adventurer of Fairy Vale. Through fields of death and an evil most foul, on a perilous quest where his enemies prowl, hearing rumors of a witch who cursed men with her wiles. 'Twas the stoic of Fairy Vale. So raise a flask, let the mead run dry, as the warmth of the hearth bends your weary thighs. May the proud flames blaze your worries away. Join your friends in song of heroes most gay. 'Tis the secret of Fairy Vale. Up on a hill sat a fortress most vile, with an evil witch with no sense of style. With a flourish and a grace he laid waste to the place. 'Twas the butcher of Fairy Vale. How can this be? The witch spat incredulously. You're a man, I can see. How do you not desire me? You tried your charms, witch, but I swingeth not that way. And so said she, slay. Raise a flask, let the mead run dry, as the warmth of the hearth bends your weary thigh. May the proud flames blaze your worries away. Join your friends in song of heroes most gay. 'Tis the secret of Fairy Vale. So raise a flask, let the mead run dry, as the warmth of the hearth bends your weary thighs. May the proud flames blaze your worries away. Join your friends in song of heroes most gay. 'Tis the hero of Fairy Vale.
Wow.
Oh my God.
It's like a whole story. It's like an epic poem. That's amazing.
You tossed a coin to the Witcher. I love it.
He like sets the scene and everything, or whoever.
That is
it
hands
was.
down my favorite thing I've heard from you, Zach. Like by far, that was awesome.
Wait, we didn't.
The way you
sabotage
did the
jacket.
vocals and stuff, and like all of the intonations and stuff. Welcome to the club, man. That was so much fun.
The chorus was epic. I love the.
Yeah, epic is right.
It really made me want to like grab some mead and like.
And raise a flask. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, I couldn't help myself. That was really
Wow, that's incredible.
How did you do the your kind of like chords and pads sort of thing that you had going there?
Honestly, that was kind of Ryan and a drunken binger.
Oh yeah, Ryan. Let's hear about your inebriated binger.
Well, I don't want to talk about that on camera, but
Of course.
but I did smoke a fat joint and I spent about 6 hours pretty much arranging the whole thing one night. But I got to give Zach a ton of credit because he came up with sort of the the concept and everything, and then I was really I wouldn't say pushing him, but like I knew it could be an epic tale, and I knew it could have a huge chorus and all this other stuff, and he delivered on the lyrics, which are not easy to do. To write how many verses? 4 verses.
Yeah, seriously.
With a banger chorus, and it had a great meter. It had a lot of rhyme, and then all of his vocal theatrics are. Pretty exceptional too. So yeah,
the
I mean,
wordplay was good too. I mean, yeah. You're batting 1,000 there, man.
It wouldn't have been, the first thing I came up with was kind of silly and not really serious. And after I passed it by Ryan, I kind of got encouraged to maybe take it more seriously and like come up, he's like, this could be like a really, kind of like a Witcher kind of, chorus, and I was like, well, okay, maybe. Okay, and so some rewrites later,
and one major
right
chord, just one major chord.
Wow.
How did you do the chords, Ryan?
So I used Quick Sampler in Logic, which is a bit of a cheat code, and I was able to drag and drop the samples, and then they're all pitched. So basically, Zach had a progression initially that I was able to build the whole song around. His rough draft was lyrics and chords. So from that, basically then I gave it back to him, and then he was able to go further, I think.
Yeah.
So I did a rough sketch based on his outline.
But what sample were the chords built on?
Yeah, I can tell you right now. So give me just 1 second, and I'll actually open up. Sitol was so the bass. Actually, great question. I know. So there's quite a bit. Quite a bit going on in there. But I'll tell you straight down the verse and the chorus were a little bit different. 1 second, I'm just reopening the session. I closed it out because I was done with it for today, but no, I'm not. So. And it's a pretty big session, so it takes some time to open. I could pretend like it was 6 tracks.
It started out as 6 tracks.
Yeah,
it was mostly like the Siddle and.
Yeah. Okay. So. Oh no! Wait a second. Well. Okay. No. Let me check. I was just looking for the file names. That's all. So the. Let's see. Okay, glute. So the glittern bass. So kick snare. I'm not sure which kick or which snare, but I could tell you eventually. The chain, the heavy chain or something, was in there pretty significantly as the rhythm section. Kick snare chain that was basically built around that. Then the glittern bass. There was 2 Sitol parts kind of panned. A glute, which is I guess like a flute, and glittern. And who, that was the instrumental portion of the verse. Yeah, who. Yeah. And then the chorus was glitter and bass, stomp and clap, with a Sitol again, a glute, glitter, and brass in the chorus. And then some haze and ways, and some tavern background noise, I guess. But then there were guitars as well throughout. And lots of vocals and some sound effects. So that's about it.
I kind of wanted the story I wanted to write the song before like producing anything. So
interesting.
Just wrote the song first and then tried to bring the song to life with the samples that we had. That was kind of the process that I wanted to go through for this one.
Cool.
Which is my preferred workflow, and that's why I think we worked together well. So not to answer your question in advance, Cam.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were done. I was going to say, I think you two make a great team. Just going by the last thing you two worked on and then this one, like I think you two should keep making music together.
Yeah.
Well, it's fun just throwing vocals over the fence and being like, yes, you deal with them,
If you're to complement each other's weaknesses, then you're in good company. However, the song-based structure, that's what I was getting at actually when I was, so if Zach came to me with lyrics and chord idea, a pretty strong one, and that's where I take it from there. Boom. That's for me as a producer where I really step in and try to bring the song to life. But I don't feel like writing a song from scratch based on some samples. I'd rather do it the other way around. Write the song and then incorporate the samples. So there you go.
Well, Zach, I thought your vocal delivery was perfect. I thought all the vocal stacks and the harmonies were amazing. I like the special effects and makes you feel like you're in the scene, which I thought was amazing.
Yeah. That's great.
Yeah.
Thank you. I wanted it to kind of feel like, I grew up watching Conan, Arnold Schwarzenegger playing Conan, and I kind of wanted it to be like that, but I thought, well, it's funny, there's no like gay stories of Conan and using that as a strength, like a witch that curses men to lust after her. And I thought, wouldn't that be a cool story? Like because he would be impervious, and that's the secret of Fairy Vale. And
I love it.
Little did she know, she cursed the wrong town. So I thought that would just be fun to try to bring to life and tell a story.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And when Zach said it was not so serious, what he meant was it was initially a graphic tale. And I was like, let's make it more of an epic tale.
Yeah, thanks, Ryan. Thanks. Yeah, that was a good suggestion. All right. On to entry 1, 2, 3, 4, number 5.
Wow.
Why do you do this to me? Why do you do this to me? I keep bleeding the voices go away. I keep leaving the choices. Do what this do? I keep bleeding the voices that go away. I keep leaving the choices. Do what this do? Keep leading the voices that go away. Keep leading the choices and what is it? Keep leading the voices that go away. Keep leading the choices and what is it? Keep leading the voices that go away. Keep leading the choices and what is it? Keep leading the voices that go away.
Amazing. I feel like that's like Bohemian Rhapsody or something.
Yeah, that was
Wow.
fantastic, Mike. If
Amazing.
I can say so. That was the spirit of the teenage engineering thing. That was it, to be insanely creative and make original stuff out of it. It wasn't meant to be a gimmick, you know. So like that was phenomenally executed to have that be unrecognizable any of the sounds and super creative. So bless you, brother. Thanks.
That was amazing.
Yeah, like if you would have handed me that track and said, like, guess what these samples were, I would have thought that they were just synth samples. I would never have guessed that they started off as
Yeah, crazy.
I don't
and shit.
I don't remember there being a period accurate wah-wah pedal in the sample pack.
Yeah, it's ye old wah-wah pedal, obviously.
Wah wah. What? Yeah, right when it started, there was like crazy explosion of sounds and like I think some kind of why sort of stuff. I'm curious what all that was, and then also I think in the second movement or maybe it was the third movement, the kind of electric guitar. I guess that was why.
So the start off with the witch sound, and I just slowed her way down and pitched her way down. And so that was kind of the at the beginning.
Wow.
And then the airplane landing sound that came in that was all three of the Gregs stacked on top of each other and put to a key group, and then I was playing them as a chord.
Wow. Creative.
Yeah.
Greg's? There's Greg's in there?
Yeah, the Gregorian chants.
Oh, okay.
They're all named Greg.
Greg 1, Greg 2, Greg 3.
Yeah.
And the guitar sound at the end was the fanfare. I just chopped it up and then put a lot of distortion on it and some other effects as well. But yeah, it was crazy. I chopped it and put it up on my pads on my MPC, and then I just started banging stuff around, and it just sounded like that, basically. Like, oh, all I got to do is find a good pattern for this, and it's going to be awesome. And it was.
Wow. So basically, you just played around for a long time and came up with dope sounds.
Yeah, I mean, I dug into this as soon as the contest started because like this is right in my wheelhouse. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go into these samples, and I literally spent like a week just like doing mise en place, right? Like I wasn't actually arranging or composing anything in the grid. I was just, okay, how do I want to do my drum samples? How do I want to do my cymbal samples? How do I want to do my lead? How do I want to do this? And I was just messing with each of the samples and creating like instruments out of them. I think I put like 4 different drum kits together with samples loaded all onto the pads, and then I also had a whole bunch of key groups that I put together, which are like samples turned into like you could play them across the piano or whatever. And I had 6 or 7 of those as well. There were 22 different tracks all together in that piece. So I didn't start like arranging it past like 8 or 16 bars until like after a week of working on it. And then it was like take all the pieces that I put together and try to arrange it out. The goal I was going for, I don't know why, but I just like it got in my head around the same time that the medieval challenge started, was to do um, my own take on a typo negative type song. And so I was listening to typo negative and thinking about what are the different, sorts of components of their music that I would want to try to replicate. And the three movements were a particular thing that I noticed about their songs. So that was something I really wanted to focus on, was just having like what sounded like three different songs that are just sort of mashed together and released as the same track. Um, and then of course the really moody like vocals and the baritone and the bass sounds, and then the sort of like the second movement or the third movement being sort of like upbeat and sort of like coming out of the depression, I guess, out of the darkness.
Mm.
So those were the components that I sort of glommed onto. And yeah, I've never written a song this long. So this was like just over 6 minutes long.
But it keeps changing, and so it held my interest from start to finish. And just when I was like, okay, this is awesome, then that guitar thing comes in. I'm like, oh my God, there's a whole other cool section. Yeah, I had the pleasure of hearing this a little early, and after the second listen, I was like, oh, that's right. This is for the medieval challenge. Like I completely forgot.
Yeah, I had Paul master it for me so that it'd be a little louder and more glued together. So thanks for that, Paul.
Impressive work, Mike.
What was that line you kept saying? I can't remember you like repeated at the end of every stanza or something.
Oh, I know my thoughts can make me criminal. It takes all I've got to keep them minimal. You tell me stop, I'm being
Cynical?
cynical. Thank you. But you don't know what the demons are dreaming in my subliminal.
Nice.
Great lyrics. And honestly, like the vocal performance was like the best vocal performance I've ever heard from you. That was like so good.
Yeah.
It was sounded like certain, a lot of the different vocal parts sounded like very strong radio.
Well, I owe a lot of that to Paul, actually, because he gave me some really great advice on how to record my vocals, and I doubled everything this time around.
Everything, like even the kind of the vocal, the stuff.
Well, I
towards
doubled
the
everything in the main lead part.
Okay.
Some of the higher stuff, I just kept a single pass at it. But and then I also used the trick that he recommended with some plate reverb and then 2 delays on the left and right to sort of give them a wider, more present feel. And that went a long ways to making the vocals sound a lot better. And then I've just been getting really good with the beat repeat. So I use that very liberally.
That's a great effect. Never gets old.
Yeah.
What is that? Beat repeat. What is that?
Well, it's like it's on an XY grid, so like I can go like full bar, half bar, quarter bar, eighth bar, and then I can do usually it's like resonance or high cut, low cut. So when you can pick it, if you like hit it on the quarter bar, it's just going to repeat the last quarter bar worth of music, and then you can just drag it down to change the pitch on it or to change the not the pitch, but the filter on it. So you'll get that It's like creating an echo, but you control the number of occurrences that it has and how long it lasts by the way you're drawing on it. So I'll like have a general echo that's sort of like really close and just sort of creating more volume in the voice, but then I'll go and use the beat repeat to put the actual echo effects specifically how I want them, right? Like I want this to repeat 8 times over the next 4 bars, so I'm going to set the beat repeat here and draw it this way, and then I can get it to like sound pretty nice, I think.
Yeah.
And I was doing that all over the place in that song.
That's cool to have it on the XY grid. It sounds like that's a little intuitive.
Yeah. I would just play like the bars back and forth and just draw on it until I got something that sounded really cool. And then I'd be like, practice it a few times and then record it. Yeah.
Sick.
Wow. I think what I really liked about the piece is there were so many little intricate things happening kind of in the background that it really forced me to just, okay, I just need to listen to this instead of, bopping along kind of thing. And it's like, I think, Paul was saying earlier that, you hear something really amazing, you're like, wow. And then the next minute something new happens and it's like this, like a treasure hunt almost of finding new things as you go throughout the song, and it really just holds your attention.
No, thank you. I appreciate that. I think I'm really proud of this one. I think this
Oh
turned
yeah,
out really great.
It's
Yeah.
so good,
absolutely
dude.
did.
Yeah.
I really wanted to add a guitar solo around bar 98, Major 98. I was like, it's time for a guitar solo here, but it's great without. You basically wrote two full songs for this.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. It's like your Bohemian Rhapsody or your Paranoid Android or something. That's what I think is so cool.
Yeah, good for you. Did you find what did you learn from this process?
Um, I'm just, I don't know. I'm growing and evolving, trying new things. I like my catalog of songs has a sort of like a style to it, but they're all over the place in like what they're trying to do. And this is just another example of that, where like I specifically challenged myself, right? Use these samples, write a long song, right? Like the longest thing you've ever written, and try and make it sound like Typo Negative. And so that was like a good box to put myself in. And then I just like tried to be as creative as I could within those parameters. And yeah, the length was the thing that like really like caused me to learn a lot because like it's producing a song that long is almost the same amount of effort to me, at least my personal experience of like producing 2 3 minute songs. Like that plus
Oh
more
yeah,
because now you've got to produce 2 3 minute songs and then somehow glue them together in a way that's meaningful and entertaining.
yeah.
Yeah, I fucking feel you. I mean, same with like I when I have like four verses instead of three, I'm always like, Jesus Christ, like this is
Right.
like gonna be so much more effort now. So I feel you with that plus all the music. It's a lot of work. But yeah, it sounds like you had a because you were talking about you did all the prep work sort of first. Did you like working that way? Would you work in that way again or tweak it in any way?
I've done that before with some of the sample challenges I've issued to myself. One of the things I like to do is there's a speed comp competition that goes on Facebook where it happens like every 3 months, I think, and they put 10 samples out, and the challenge is very similar, right? But that one you have only half an hour, which is ridiculous. I could
Oh,
never
wow.
possibly do that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like throw them on pads, hit record, and start banging it out. That's basically all you're gonna have time for. Um, but those samples are still really fun to mess with. And so I've actually made several songs before. So I sort of learned the process of like the best way to sort of do this when somebody hands you a bunch of samples and says, make a song. And like, yeah, one of the first things I like to do is like, okay, well, let's take these samples and turn them into instruments, create a band of instruments that I actually want to create the song with. And then go and create the song. And usually, yeah, there's a lot of changing that happens to it because I wanted to sound like something that I made and not just, you know, playing the samples over and over. I mean, that's cool and fun too, but that was like the goal that I set for myself.
That's cool. Yeah, I found myself doing sort of something similar when I was at Sam's because she was driving on Logic on her computer, and I kind of found myself relegated to the sample searcher. I was like looking through them all and like categorizing them, like, okay, these are kind of like kick snare samples. These are kind of like clap snap samples. These are
Yeah.
kind of like um, all the atmospheric or whatever. So it
Yeah, I
was
put together a whole drum kit out of samples. So I've got, three toms on there and a crash and a ride and a rim and a stick, two snares, two kicks, two bass drums that I basically put together all the samples. I didn't use all of it, but um, yeah, I went to those extremes. And then yeah, some of the instruments I did like a lot of I basically sort of cheated, right? Because I could take a sound, put it into like a key group, but then the key group is basically a synthesizer. So like some of that stuff with the pitch wah and stuff that you saw, like I programmed the synthesizer to change the oscillation when I hit the aftertouch on that sample to where it would do the wah faster. So I could like tap it to sort of get one sound and then push it deeper to get the wah effect. And I was playing
Oh,
around with
cool.
that.
on the MPC after touch on the MPC.
Um, yeah, the DPC can record and receive aftertouch from a standard, keyboard. I was using the Osmos in this case, but it was just
Oh,
basically a MIDI instrument at that point.
good.
So
That's a good
yeah,
idea to do that with I was wondering about the wah.
Yeah, that's how I did that. Like that last part on the fade out where it's just doing all that wacky stuff. Yeah, that's just me playing with basically two keys
Yeah,
on the keyboard.
that's great. Yeah, because I've kind of like programmed in like an LFO to like wah my sampler before, but I haven't done it like that with Aftertouch, which seems like that's a
Well,
brilliant.
yeah, the Osmos is super great for that though, right? Because I've got like a 1/4 inch of aftertouch.
Right.
It feels
So,
like it feels like when you're pressing on like one of those clear plastic balls. Like there's one sitting underneath it, like a little miniature Easter egg, and you can like feel the pressure change when you hit it. So it's real easy to control when you are and are not triggering the aftertouch.
Interesting. Yeah, it turned out great. So it sounds like that's a very intuitive kind of physical way.
Yeah, I'm excited to dig into the Osmos and like create a song purely using the Osmos. That's next on my list.
Yeah,
But
I
was
think
obsessed
Mike
with this
has
one. Got to get this one done.
Mike has his hardware and his ecosystem really figured out, in terms of what he can do with it. And now he's just in like expert mode where where he's just doing it. That's what I feel like.
Well, there's a reason he's been awarded dopest rack of gear.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a reason he's in the Hall of Champions.
Do you guys think that you would have completed this challenge if it were only 1 week long? I don't think I would have.
I mean, no, because I started it in the second week, but so it's hard to say if I would have. But I liked the 2 weeks. I did like the 2 weeks.
Yeah, because it also gives you the time to plan ahead, right? Like I'm not gonna be able to work on that this week, but I can work on that next week. But for like crazy people like me, I needed all the 2 weeks. And if I had another week, I would probably have produced like another 2 minutes.
I didn't even have it written in a week. It took a week just to write it.
Yeah, I bet. I mean, that's a lot of lyrics.
So I like the 2 weeks.
What about you, Joe and Paul?
Well, I started. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Paul.
No, go ahead, Joe.
Oh, I started on Thursday because I was hoping my voice would recover to do the original piece I wrote. So, I did only do this in about 4 days or so. So it's hard to say, more time I could have, mixed it a little better, did some more fine tuning with the instrumentation, but.
Even though I didn't participate in this one, just even going off of the past few that we've done, I'm a lot like Mike, where I get a little too into it probably. And then if it's only a week, sometimes I'm just submitting things that's partly finished. And then comes the choice of, do I want to continue with it now that it's over or not? Where I feel like if I would just have 2 weeks, then I'd just have the 2 weeks to go even farther and maybe have it more complete. So maybe when we start doing more 2-week ones, because we're all seem to be really putting out really
bangers.
Good quality stuff in that.
Nothing but bangers.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say, Paul?
Oh, I was just going to say it wasn't a good test for me because we had guests in town. And so they would like, say, oh, we're going to go to the beach. I'm like, oh, great. I've got a couple hours to work. And then so I just sort of slotted it in. So I honestly have no idea how long it took. So I can't really answer for this one. But I think the 2 week thing is nice. It just feels less.
Yeah.
I guess.
Sounds good to me. Yeah, I was so impressed with everyone's. That was the last one, right, Zach?
Yep.
Yeah, I was so impressed with everyone's work. I mean, I'm really impressed with this group, and I just so proud of everyone, and it makes me so happy to see everyone like growing too, and like I just feel like we're growing, and I just hear so many, just more and more each time, just so many songs and parts of songs and sounds that are just like, holy fuck balls, like this is prime time, baby. So I just talented group of people.
Yeah.
And
I feel like every time people are releasing something new, I think that's the best thing I've ever heard come out of them. Like it's just like upward trending.
Yeah. And I like the idea that I think as we grow together, the community gets stronger. And I want to give a lot of credit to Zach and Cam and Richard for planning like these ideas and for us to like talk about it and do listening parties. I mean, that just makes the community stronger and it's super fun and the sharing part and listening together and talking about it. I love all that.
Yeah, and
listening
Zach
parties
and
are
Ryan
cool.
got a good collab going. That's producing some good stuff. Zach, I definitely want to see more of those kinds of vocals where you're, doing characters and having fun with it.
Yeah,
I'm here for it.
right on. It's definitely not my normal thing, but whatever. Just having
But
fun.
it sounded good. It sounded really good. Like the vocals, like literally,
That's
seriously.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's what's so cool about these challenges, though, the that's not my normal thing opportunities, right?
Right.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I would never attempt to produce a song this long before now. So
So the question is, Mike, are you going to do another one that long?
maybe. I don't know. I don't know.
We can have a
Yeah.
challenge. Write the longest song you possibly can.
I think that would be a miserable listening party though, because somebody would show up with like 20 minutes, right? And be like,
That would
No,
be
no,
horrible.
the first 80 bars are the same, but it gets
Right.
better.
The way we do it is we play the song and then everyone has a buzzer. And if you get 3 buzzers, we stop the song.
Right.
That's good. Yeah, I was thinking like some way to like track when people lose interest.
Right. Yeah.
Like you could do a buzzer, or you could have like a 3-year-old listen, and then just the second they get up and walk away, you're done.
When they wander off.
Yeah, and we time everyone to just see how long you can hold their attention.
I do want to call attention to the suggestion that I made for the last time, though. I think it would be really fun, the chop suggestion, where we come up with a bunch of ingredients. We could agree on it as a group, and then like draw from a bag, and everybody gets 4 or 5 ingredients that they got to put in. That they got to put in whatever song they make.
Well, I missed part of that.
Yeah, can you explain it again, Mike? It sounded cool when you had put it in the Discord, but I don't remember exactly.
So it's like it's inspired by the show Chopped, right? And in Chopped, you have 3 rounds of cooking, like an appetizer, a main, and a dessert or whatever. But every round, you get a box that has weird ingredients in it that are like kind of hard to work with. And there's like 4 or 5 of them, but you got to use all of them in the food that you produce. Now, I'm saying we don't just do 1 round, but we would come up with musical ingredients, right? And some of the suggestions I came up with was like yodeling or a banjo sound or somebody playing the pan flute or, record something on your phone. We can
Yeah.
be all over the place, right? I like spell a word, give a dance instructions. And we could just come up with a whole bunch of them,
Yeah.
put them in a bag, have a drawing to start the contest, right? And everybody draws like 4 or 5 of these ingredients.
Yeah.
And then we sort of know what everybody's ingredients are, or like we find out at the end, we do that however we want. But then everybody has to go and make a song with those ingredients.
So everyone gets some subset randomly.
Yes.
I see. That could be really interesting.
So you'd be like, all right, here's my song. My ingredients were yodeling, spell out a word, have a spoken word part, and banjo.
Yeah, I think that'd be really fun because it kind of there are specific difficult things that you have to work with, like in Chopped. And, maybe not all of them are super difficult, but, tricky things. And it'd be fun too to do the drawing and then kind of throughout the 2 weeks that we're doing the challenge to be like, okay, I know Richard also got, underwater microphone recording, and then I can be like, how the fuck are you doing this? Like, I'm so stuck. Like, and you can kind of
Yeah.
So in
each
this
other
challenge,
advice.
you wouldn't be limited to those sounds, though, right? You could add other stuff.
Yeah, they just have to be in your final meal.
Got it. Okay. Interesting.
And the challenge in Chopped is you can't hide it, right? It has to be like, oh, that's obviously you doing I would have a checklist, and if I listen to the song, I should be able to check all those things off, right?
I see.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
I'd be like, oh yeah, I found a sample of somebody yodeling and took 2 microseconds of it and pitched it way down and put it at the beginning of the song.
Right. Took one sample of it and one.
Yeah, I think that'd be fun. I do also want to say, we have there's been a lot of suggestions of challenges over the time we've had the server. And honestly, I think really all of them would be good. There's so many good challenges, and I think the weirder, the better. because it pushes us outside of our comfort zone. And I want to kind of honor that. And I want all of us to be open-minded and try all these different challenges, because that's kind of the spirit of the challenges anyways. Like just giving it a go, even if you're not, even if it sounds hard or even if it sounds not up your alley, like, because it pushes you outside of your comfort zone. So, I love doing all these challenges, and I want to keep doing them, and I have so much fun doing them with all of you.
Agreed.
We should do more of a support group around them though, because we got to get like the Taylors and the Steves across the finish line so we can have a bigger party at the
Support
end.
group, yeah. I don't know how to do that, but that's we should. Challenge support group. Are you having trouble with the challenge?
Do you know someone
Tuesday
that's struggling with challenges?
We just put up flyers throughout the community. Are you struggling with the medieval samples challenge?
You are not alone.
Are you challenged?
The medieval sample challenge presented a lot of technical challenges to people, especially if working with samples isn't part of their current workflow, right? So, I mean, like in the case of Richard, like, I got to go download software that does that. I don't have anything that deals with samples.
Yeah, I had to learn a whole new instrument for it, but it seems actually to be really cool, and I actually have ideas to use it in the future. So I did come out with a positive, even though I didn't actually make a song with it. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. No, this has been great. The last two challenges for me have been probably the best education, of the last year in terms of growth I've felt for myself.
Yeah.
And is it a coincidence that they're the ones that have pushed you furthest outside your comfort zone?
Yeah, because they were the furthest outside my comfort zone, and so, yeah, made me have to really stretch.
Yeah, I mean, look at you. You have pink hair now. I mean, you're a whole new person.
Whole new world.
You live in medieval times? I mean, look at you.
Bangs. You got bangs.
Yeah, I guess I do.
I guess I did get bangs.
Yeah, I would include the chord challenge though in that too. That was
coordination. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe that was a little less dramatic outside of the comfort zone, but it still was, from a music theory standpoint than a stylistic standpoint.
Yeah, and that one's repeatable. We could do that one again pretty easily, right? Just pick out some different chords.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of them are repeatable. I was thinking about this earlier today, how we could, the more that we have more challenges under our belt and certain ones are more repeatable, you could easily see us like putting out a whole calendar in advance a little bit of what the challenges are and kind of publishing that and promoting it and people seeing that and being like, holy crap, look at all these weird challenges. Like, I want to hop in maybe.
That's actually a really great idea, Cam.
Yeah, we should build them out further.
Cool. Well, like Joe mentioned doing the Guess Who challenge over Halloween, which I'm like, we definitely have to do that. That would be so fun.
That is a great idea.
Yeah, and then the angry Christmas song challenge for winter,
Christmas.
Yeah, we got to do that again.
Was that a challenge?
Well, it was a holiday song, but a couple of our songs ended up kind of angry.
Mine was super angry.
Oh, yeah.
That was great. Shut up, you kids!
Forgot about that.
Alrighty, rock and roll.
Excellent.
Well, I guess we'll wrap it up here.
Yeah, thank you, everyone.
Good.
It's been my pleasure.
Yeah,
That was fun.
Thanks.
Very rewarding experience. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks for coming, everyone. I love you all. It's been a great time.
Love you. Bye.
All right.
Thanks.
Take
Bye,
care.
everybody.
Have a good night.
Good night.